Greece is a European country located just below Albania, Macedonia, and Bulgaria. It is made up of over 2,000 islands, of which only 170 are inhabited. The capital city is Athens, and in the area around the capital, known as Attiki, is home to almost one-third of the Greek population. Population. As of July 2017, there was an estimated 10,768,477 total population of Greece. As will be seen in the statistics later, the population of Greece is naturally decreasing at 0.06%, which is not a good sign for the growth of our country as a whole. Birth rate. The crude birth rate remained stable until the 1850s, when the crude birth rate started to gradually decrease. This was around the end of the Greek War of Independence, which means that Greeks were starting to have a stable economy and political standpoint, so children were not the most important thing in a family. Then the graph shows a fluctuation of data as Greece improved its efficiency and quality of life and started to gain firm ground as an independent country. Then there was a natural increase after World War I, as the life expectancy dropped and people started to panic. After that, the crude birth rate decreased, and still is, as people became more educated on population childbirth, as well as having a good job, which was of highest priority. The economy also started to fall, so less people could support a large family. The crude birth rate in 2017 was averaged at 8.4 births per every 1,000 population. The crude birth rate appears to will still continue its decrease, which could be a concern for Greece's population. Crude death rate. The crude death rate remains pretty constant, but there is no data before the 1950s. This means there's a huge gap in the data. However, a slight increase is seen towards the end of the graph, which is in 2015, which could be linked to the failing economy and lack of job opportunities, which is causing families to struggle with their financials and bills, such as healthcare. The crude death rate is 11.3 births per every 1,000 population as of 2017. This is a cause for concern, especially if this increase continues, as the population of Greece is already decreasing and the crude death rate should not be increasing. In fact, it should be decreasing due to the high medical care in our modern world. Infant mortality. Child mortality is one of the big ways to analyze a country's socio-economic development. For 100 years, the 18 to 1900s, Greece's infant mortality did not change from the 320 deaths per 1,000 live births. However, it starts to decrease just before 1920, then increases again from 1930 to 1940, which is when World War II took place. It keeps decreasing gradually, only spiking in 1949, which was the end of the Greek Civil War. After that, from 1950 until 2010, it kept decreasing, and in 2015, the infant mortality was 4.6 deaths per 1,000 live births. This number will keep decreasing if it follows the trend of the graph, which will place Greece's infant mortality as one of the lowest in the world. Life expectancy. This graph shows the life expectancy of Greeks from the beginning of the 1800s until 2015. The life expectancy was stable, 38 years of age from 1800 until 1880, when it started to increase gradually. This is due to the start of better healthcare and awareness of hygiene that arose in this time period. Then, in 1918, the life expectancy suddenly dropped, which was because of World War I, which lasted from 1914 until 1918. The same drop happened during World War II, which was from 1939 until 1945. Just after that, the Civil War took place, from 1946 to 1949, which is why the life expectancy fluctuated under 60 years of age for a short period of time. After those few years, the life expectancy started to increase rapidly, and as of 2017, the life expectancy for Greece is 80.7 years. The life expectancy of Greece looks to keep rising, and if there are no huge changes, in 20 years, it will reach around 87 years of age. There is no data for the GDP for the pre-1960s of Greece. However, the GDP started to steadily increase from 1916 to 1979, then from 1970 to 2000, it shows a small fluctuation but remains relatively constant. It started to rise from 2000, but in 2008 there was a huge drop, which marks the fall of the Greek economy. It's downhill from there until 2013, where there is a small leveling off, which could mean the Greek economy is beginning to stabilize. The fall of the Greek economy has greatly impacted Greece as a whole, not to mention its population changes. If the GDP really is starting to level off or even increase, it would be a very good thing for Greece's development as a country. Just to help you understand some of those facts in relation to other countries, Greece is the 85th largest country in the world based on population, as you can see visually in the image here, and has a life expectancy which is just over the world average, which is 76 years. Population, distribution, and density. The area around the capital of Athens is home to almost one-third of the Greek population. The black spot on the map here is actually the capital, Athens, so as you can see, it is very densely populated. Greece's density is 82 people per kilometer squared, so think about that. However, all these people are not evenly distributed, as only 170 of the 2,000 islands are inhabited. Population pyramids. As you can see in the graph here, in 1960 the birth rate was quite high. Also was the amount of people between the ages of 20 to 40, which is the working age, because lots of people came to work in Greece. The pyramid kept getting smaller after that, with 0.5 of the population being over 80 years old, which was just above the life expectancy of the time. The male and female population size remains pretty equal as the pyramid continues, with the male population being just slightly more in the early years, but the female population is more in the later years. Next, we can compare that pyramid with the one from 2010, which was 7 years ago. The amount of infants has decreased by half, showing us that less people are having children. There are still a lot of people in between the ages 20 to 40, which shows that there are still jobs available, although the population is more evened out over the ages. Also, the life expectancy has increased, so the maximum graph age is 100 years plus. The next graph is the predicted population of Greece in 2060. The whole graph is very even, with the population actually spiking in the later years. There is even a 0.03% of the population which are 100 years or over. However, the total population of 2060 is projected to be 9,135,034, whereas the total population of 2010 was 11,177,509 people, and the population of the 1960s was 8,311,386, which shows that in 2010 there was the most amount of people in Greece. Migration. Over the years, many Greeks have decided to move from Greece to other countries in hopes of finding better jobs. In the past 5 years, over 120,000 professionals have left Greece to find better jobs elsewhere. This greatly affects the population as people are leaving, but the crude birth rate is also decreasing, which reduces the whole population. There are many immigrants coming to Greece, but as many go on to other countries in Europe, it does not affect the population that much. Population plan. A population for Greece would be to increase the GDP and job opportunities. They could do this by using the money so the other countries are giving them to extend and create a supporting economy which will flourish, not just to get out of loans. They should also increase the job opportunities by advertising tourism more, as that is a main industry in Greece. By increasing the GDP and job opportunities, this will bring back the immigrants who have left to seek better job opportunities, plus create a supporting income for the citizens of Greece. They should also provide healthcare that is available to everyone, as not everyone can afford the expensive healthcare, so they should try and lessen the money. We need the population growth to be more positive, so more children need to be encouraged, and the crude death rate needs to lessen, which is correlated to the healthcare and job opportunities. As a whole, Greece is underpopulated, or is beginning to be so, as the crude birth rate is decreasing and the crude death rate is at quite a high rate.